Welcome, reef fans. Welcome, reef fans, to my video journal of my 75-gallon work in progress reef tank. The goal of the video journal is to just document what's happening with this reef tank on a month-by-month or maybe every couple of week basis. I have a lot of changes to make. I've got some challenges ahead of me, and I look forward to input from anybody out there in the reefing community that watches YouTube and is into the hobby like I am. I love the hobby ever since my days as a boy watching Jacques Cousteau. I love the idea that we could have parts of nature that nobody really gets to see unless you're in the Caribbean diving or other exotic parts of the world. But in any event, this is again a video journal intended to be a community project. Any criticism, comments, ideas, suggestions, questions, anything is welcome, and no offense taken. So here's the situation. We started with a 75-gallon tank. I've got 100 pounds or so of live rock. About 2 years ago, the live rock approximately 6 months ago got infested with macroalgae. So obviously we had a high phosphate level. Part of it was my fault in being lazy and not doing water changes like I should. But tested the water, never had phosphates, never had nitrates, but I'm sure they were in there, or else we wouldn't have been growing the macroalgae that basically covered the same rocks you see now. It covered them from one end of the tank to the next, covered the corals I had in here, and basically took over the whole tank. So we're not going to let that happen again. I've done a lot of reading since. I've got a lot of good ideas on why it happened so rapidly, and how we're going to prevent that from happening in the future. So as I said, this was taken over by a macroalgae. I took out the live rock, every piece. I brought it in the backyard. I scrubbed it down. I hosed it down. I got rid of every piece of macroalgae. It was it's like a vine-like plant growing. I'm going to do a close-up because I see more coming back again. But in any event, you can see on the inside of that rock, maybe it's not big enough yet, or the lighting's not good enough. But it wasn't a hair algae, it was more like a plant. But in any event, we're going to fix it, we're going to make it better, and please help with the help of the fellow community out there. We're going to make this thing better. So we scrubbed out all the rock, got rid of all the algae, took out everything I had on the bottom. My substrate was a mixture of sand and grunge, and who knows what accumulated on there after time. I'm sure there was detritus there that obviously didn't belong. We need to be clean in this hobby. My sump, same thing. Over the years, things get into this sump, it doesn't get cleaned properly, and it creates a problem. So we cleaned out the sump, cleaned out the tank. We put live sand in the bottom, about 1.5 inches. It's 80 pounds of Carib Sea live sand, which we could talk about later. Obviously live sand isn't really truly live sand, but that can be a video for another day. So we've got the rock, and we've got an algae bloom here. This is 6 weeks in to the new setup, and we've got, as you can see, we've got an algae bloom. I don't know if you can see that. That's a Hydor 3 back there. It's covered. The intake of that is covered. I'm going to have to clean that out, but it's covered with hair algae, nuisance algae. We've got deep dark nuisance algae here. I guess that's a high flow rate area, and that's where the nutrients are. So that's a nice deep dark. If you want a deep dark growth of hair algae, that's how you get it. put it in a high flow zone, and you're going to get it. We've got more hair algae, you know, here. We've got more in the middle of the tank. Again, everything registers at 0, like before, but I have some ideas on how we're going to change that out. Number one, the lighting. We've got a Core Life 4x96 watt subcompact lighting system that was good when I was keeping softies only and fish only. You know, it worked fine. I'm going to try to lift this up, but we probably all know what it looks like underneath, and maybe I'll do a video on lighting. I want to switch that out to metal halides or LED. I'm not quite so sure about the LED because they're new on the market. I was talking to my local fish store, and he had some really good ideas and spoke very highly of the LEDs. Now, we all hear bad things about local fish stores, but I have to say there's one local fish store I have nearby where I have the utmost faith in the owner of that store to give really proper advice on what to do, because as we all know, there's not one way to do this. There's not one way to do this hobby, but again, I'm looking for lowest time possible spent maintaining the tank, highest amount of time enjoying the tank. We're looking again to keep small polyp stonies, large polyp stonies, and some softies. So obviously the light changing is the first idea. The bulbs are over a year old. Part of the reason why we're having the algae problem, I'm sure, is the bad lighting. As we know, those bulbs don't last that long. In lieu of spending, you know, $120 to replace 4 bulbs, you know, we're gonna put that money towards a new fixture again, whether that's LED or metal halide. You know, I have to do some more investigation. So the system, overflow box, typical overflow box. It's 6 inches by 3 inches. I'm not sure how many gallons per hour that is, but again, look at the coralline algae growing. You know, if you can grow coralline algae, you could grow coral. So that's a good sign. Lots of coralline algae growth on the rocks themselves. If you could see it, I don't know if this shows color that well, but you know, it's there. It's there. It's all over the place. So good signs there. Again, water quality, all measures good. pH is 8.2. Calcium is 400. Alkalinity is at 12. So we're doing good. So the drain comes down into my sump, which, let's see, it's dark out. I happen to have a flashlight here. We're draining down into the sump. It's very basic. It's a 20-gallon long sump. This is the drain. Drains to the sump. Here's the outlet of the drain at the corner of the sump. We've got a Berlin protein skimmer, which I'm not overly happy with the amount of skimmate we get from that. I keep trying to tweak it and fine-tune it. I don't know if you can see that very well. It gets more than it has, but it's not the best. I think that's another change that needs to be made. We need to do some research on you know, skimmers. As we know, this is the heart and lungs of the filtration system. So we have to do some work on that. That skimmer is being run by, again, that's the Berlin Classic skimmer. So it's an old skimmer. I'm not saying it doesn't work at all, but I don't think it works enough for the bio load of fish I'd like to keep. You know, I want it all. I want the heaviest bio load of fish I can keep, the easiest maintenance, and obviously the hardest to keep coral. So it's going to be a give and take, and I'll have to see what I'll have to sacrifice. This skimmer is being run by Rio 2500. My return is here, actually. Well, here you're not going to be able to see very well, but that's a, we all know what they look like, but that's a Berlin, or a Rio 3100. Goes out through my hole in the wall, which I happen to have another room behind here that's a man cave that my kids took over, so it's no longer a man cave. It's a kid cave. In any event, I've got a quarter power horsepower chiller. From the chiller, it comes back into the tank, and it returns up in the top of the tank, and we'll get my light on that. Typical return. So anyhow, 2 high door 3s. One on the right hand side, we've got the Galaxia Coral that's doing pretty well. I just turned the lights on so he's not out all the way. But that's where we are at the beginning. By the way, I have a cleanup crew in here. I've got about I don't know, 100 algae eating. See a bunch on this rock here. Oh, they're all over this rock. I've got, of course, they're not in my hair algae, right? I've got about 100 crabs and hermit crabs and snails that are all heavy-duty hair algae, macroalgae eating animals. So we've got some considerations. You know, we've got to look at the sand bed, deep sand bed, not deep sand bed, no sand bed. We've got a decision to make on the lights. We've got a decision to make on the overflow box. Do I want to make that bigger? Is it fine the way it is? Do I want to put a refugium in the bottom sump? That could be a sump refugium, which I'm leaning towards. So a lot of decisions. But that's kind of where we are now. Again, comments, suggestions, ideas, they're all welcome. I will post in 30 days, or less. Every time I add a piece of equipment, I'm going to explain why I add it, what I add it, and again, comment please when I do that. If I add something and it is intended to reduce the hair algae and it doesn't, I'm gonna tape that too. That's gonna be part of it. So this is just gonna be a, as I said, a video journal to see if we can make this thing into a nicer looking, more appealing, biodiverse tank. I have a vision in my eye what I want it to look like. That live rock, I don't like all that live rock in the top. I'd like to get some of that live rock into the sump area. So again, another reason why I need a bigger sump. But I just don't like that stacked to the back look. I want some more swimming area, but there we go. The goal is to make this right, and then after that, if we can make this right, it's to jump up to a 180. So again, the fellow reef fans out there, appreciate it. Thank you for watching the video, and we'll talk to you again in 30 days or less.